Welcome to C-Suite on Your Street, a show where we talk about what you need to know to start, run, and grow your small business. I'm LaTaunya Howard, your host and a fellow small business owner of Howard Corporate Center right here in the city of Laurel. On this program, we speak with entrepreneurs and experts on a wide range of topics. Our goal, to share resources, tips, and tricks to help you operate and think like a CEO, wherever you are on your entrepreneurial journey. Today's guest is Raj Kudchadkar, President and CEO of the Central Maryland Chamber. Mr. Kudchadkar also previously served as the Director of the Howard County Office of Military Affairs and as Deputy Director of the Howard County Department of Planning and Zoning. For the past couple of episodes on this show, we have discussed the importance of marketing your business and resources to help you do so. Today, we're going to continue that discussion as Mr. Kudchadkar shares information about the Central Maryland Chamber and how it can help you market your business. Mr. Kudchadkar, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, I'm very excited.
You're a very busy man.
Yes, better to be busy than bored.
There you go. And you're going to be leaving the country, so you squeezed us in. I'm so flattered by that.
I'm going to be in Japan and Singapore in another day.
Yes, so. Very good, very good. Now, you have a very interesting and diverse background professionally. So tell us a little bit about that and how it led you to your current role with the Chamber.
Yeah, so I'm originally a native of New York, born just a few blocks from Yankee Stadium, but went all over the country for school. For undergrad, I was in the Midwest, then grad school, came back to New York City, law school. After law school, I practiced several different areas of law. I have a very eclectic legal background. I did land use, I did disability rights, education law, and then in about 2005, Ken Ullman was elected county executive in Howard County, and he approached me to be the deputy director of the BRAC office, Base Realignment Closure. I'm sure you remember that.
Yes, I do.
It's a process that the military uses every 5 to 10 years to realign, become more effective and efficient. And for us here in Maryland, particularly the region we're in, Fort Meade was growing a lot. It was going to be a big gainer during the BRAC process. We were expecting about 20, 30,000 folks coming, and so we needed to make sure in Howard County we were prepared for that growth at Fort Meade and making sure we had enough road capacity, school capacity. So I was running that BRAC office as deputy director for about 4.5 years, and then the director of that office moved on, and I moved up to the directorship. And as you said, it was called the Military Affairs Office, because in addition to the growth at Fort Meade, we also supported veterans. Started a Veterans Commission, dealt with military families, but Fort Meade and the growth at Fort Meade was a huge focus. And I always remind people of this. You know, people are always fixed on the impacts. You know, there's going to be a lot more cars on the road and so on and so forth, but we also looked at the opportunities. There are a lot of agencies coming to Fort Meade that needed contractors, so we wanted to work with small businesses, whether it's a veteran-owned business, minority-owned business, and we wanted to get them connected to those new agencies coming in so they could support the mission at Fort Meade. So I did that for a few years, and a new administration came in. Alan Kittleman was elected about 3.5 years ago, and upon his service as county executive, I was moved to the Planning and Zoning office as deputy director there. And that was the last job before I made the jump to the chamber world, and it's been about a year now that I've been in the chamber world.
Excellent. And you know, one of the many interesting tidbits about your professional background is that when you were with the Planning and Zoning Department, you were somewhat involved with, you know, Ellicott City and flooding recovery. Tell us a little bit about that, especially since that's been in the news, unfortunately, again recently.
Yeah, so in 2016, which was the last large flood, I was deputy director in planning and zoning, and I played a large role in the recovery efforts. We have an emergency operations center. I spent quite a bit of time there strategizing with all different departments in public works, emergency management, on how we could best serve our residents and businesses down on Main Street in the historic district. Now, I'd actually left my position by the time they started the rebuilding process. I had moved on to my chamber duties, but yes, I played a very active role, and you know, it's a The solution is difficult, right? In the sense that we have these businesses there. It's a large tourist attraction. It generates taxes. It's a strong base for the county, but it's also a mill town. And a lot of our mill towns in the U.S. now, they don't exist anymore. They've been abandoned because of the flooding issues they've experienced. So certainly there's a balancing act there. I wasn't a part of it. I know my colleagues have a lot ahead of them. You know, in the chamber world, we've marshaled our businesses, brought them together, and really encouraged them to support those in need. So we have a large network of businesses now that are providing supports, whether it's providing their services and volunteering, or giving supplies, providing advice. So all our businesses in the chamber are very engaged in the recovery this time around.
Yeah. Yeah, your background is very interesting, so it's no wonder that you were selected to serve in the role that you currently have now as president and CEO of the Central Maryland Chamber. So with that in mind, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Chamber, how it came to exist? Because it's only about a year old, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so we're about a year old, and we came into existence through a merger. So the BWCC, which is the Baltimore-Washington Corridor Chamber, located right here in Laurel, merged with the West Anne Arundel County Chamber of Commerce, which is headquartered in Odenton. And about a year and a half ago, the chairs of the board of directors for the two chambers were talking about the fact that there's so much synergy between these two chambers. And we have lots and lots of chambers in the state of Maryland, close to 100 of them. So we have a very saturated environment. And the idea was, hey, you know what? If we work together, we can be a bigger and better chamber. You know, we can really cover this region. And people are fixated by the borders, right? It's, oh, you know, I live in Howard County, I live in Anne Arundel County. And one of the questions I got all the time when I was Deputy Director of BRAC, Base Realignment and Closure in Howard County was, oh, Fort Meade is in Anne Arundel County. Why do we have a BRAC office in Howard County? I'm like, it's a mile away, and we have 13,000 folks who live in our county, in Howard County, that commute and work at Fort Meade. It has a huge impact. I mean, the connectivity and all the action, everything that's happening within our region, we wanted to harness it. And so about a year ago, we merged and we rebranded and became the Central Maryland Chamber.
Okay, very good. So tell us a little bit about what the mission is of the Chamber and what types of strategic plans are on the horizon for the Chamber.
So we want to be the chief advocate for businesses in the region, and we want to make sure we have a strong, healthy business ecosystem. And you know, the idea here is if we have a strong tax base and we're providing the money for better health care, parks and recreations, we're going to improve the quality of life. And if we're improving the quality of life, we have a high quality of life, we're going to be attracting even more workers, those high qualified workers. So I like to call it the cycle of life. So we want to make sure that we have the best place to live, work, and play and start a business. And so the Chamber is integral in that process. And we support businesses in all sorts of different ways. We have what I call, primary pillars. One of them is promoting a business. So we're there promoting businesses on a daily basis. We're advocating for businesses, whether it's on the local level, the county level, the federal level. We're always pushing for our business interests. We're also making connections, whether it's B2B, business to business, B2C, business to client. So that's a big thing, and creating that network so that our businesses can really thrive. And the fourth one is informing. We want to make sure they have the information they need to succeed. Whether you're a sole proprietor and you're working in your mom's basement, or you're a mom and pop deli and you're looking to grow and become a chain, all the way up to the large businesses, we want to make sure they have the most up-to-date information to grow and make the right business decisions. So those are the four major pillars.
Okay, great. And since you talked about different types of businesses, from the mom and pop to the, maybe Fortune 500 or better, tell us a little bit about the current membership mix in terms of the types of industries that are represented, and even the number of members, since you said it was the merger of two previously existing chambers.
So one thing I will say is that every single one of your viewers can join the chamber. It doesn't matter what industry they're in, we can help them out. So we have, just the sheer fact that we're near Fort Meade, it's our next door neighbor. We have cyber companies, we have defense contractors. But outside of that, we have retailers, we have lots of different consulting firms, whether it's an accountant, wealth management, we have law firms, banks. So if you name the industry, they have a presence. There's no doubt about it. I don't think you could point to a particular industry and we'd be void. Even high-tech science, biotech, we have several companies in that arena. So a full spectrum, and we certainly have more in certain areas than other areas. But if you are new to the chamber, if you're the first business that sells widgets, well, we can still support you in many different ways. And we might not particularly understand your industry, but we will work with you to support you in the areas that you need. Okay. But I'd be shocked if we didn't have all the major industries covered.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So let's talk a little bit more how specifically the Central Chamber can help businesses to market themselves, because that's really the crux of what we want to get to today. Yep. Because marketing is such an important aspect of business, regardless of the size of the business. Yep. And before we get into the specifics of how the Chamber can help, you're a CEO.
Yes.
You're a president and a CEO. And as I mentioned in the introduction, we on this show want to help our viewers think and operate like a CEO wherever they are on their journey. So as a CEO, how important would you say it is for businesses to market their businesses, just in a general sense?
Well, in this day and age, it's essential, right? I mean, a lot of times you were on Main Street and everyone knew of your business. When they needed your particular goods or your particular service, they knew where to go. Now there's so many people out there and there's so much going on in the environment, so many moving pieces and parts, is that getting out there and making sure that your product, your service is out there, there's that situational awareness, it's critical. Okay. And even in the chamber world, I mean, which is why I was happy you invited me today. So people know about the chamber and the things that we do. Particularly, and everyone, this is a no-brainer now, right? Everyone knows social media is where you capture a large piece of your audience, and particularly in the industry you're in, it could be your primary tool. And so we're always on social media. We're promoting our businesses, whether our particular business is hosting an event there, and we're encouraging others to come and saying, hey, Business X is doing this seminar there, and you can come listen to the seminar. And we're attracting clientele, and people are getting exposed to that business. Or if it's, we have lots of businesses, our companion, they're partners with us. They're doing advocacy in DC. They're doing advocacy in Annapolis. And if they're, if they have a big win in Annapolis, we want to tout that and say, hey, this organization, this business, they've helped us with this. So we use social media a lot. Okay. Your viewers should be using social media a lot. And my thing is, it tends to be a win-win, right? Because your return on investment is very high. It's not very time-consuming, and you might have one or two messages and you're only grabbing a few people, and then all of a sudden you get one that gets captured by a few people, and that becomes that domino effect. And we have a lot of those where we have a speaker at a particular event and it catches the eye of just a handful of people, but then it just wildfire, and the message gets out. So we in particular use social media. I certainly encourage your viewers to use it, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, the usual suspects. Okay. We're always pushing out that information. Now, in terms of how other ways that we can help businesses get out their message and give them more exposure, we have our events, which I've already mentioned, and we have small events from where it's a seminar with 15 or 20 businesses to large events where we'll have 2 or 3 keynote speakers, and there'll be 300 people in the room. And we have, in our smaller events, we have a lot of our businesses that are coming, and they're the speakers. They're the ones that are conducting the seminars, and they're providing the training to our businesses, and they're getting exposure there. Other times at those bigger events, they're in the audience and they're making that connection. So we're giving a lot of exposure to businesses that way.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about some of your signature events, maybe one that you recently had or one that you have upcoming?
Oh, sure. So we recently just had our annual meeting, and our annual meeting is where we tell our members, hey, we want to tell you about the health of the chamber and the direction we're headed in. What can you expect over the next year? So we had that annual meeting, and it's in conjunction with our Hall of Fame. So we want to recognize our businesses. We have over 550 businesses in the chamber that are engaging us on a daily basis, and they're doing great things in the community, and we have partners that we want to recognize. And if they've done things whether it's helping with the quality of life and because of their mission, or whether it's the growth that they've had and they've hired several more employees, and they're from last year to this year they've had 50 more hires. So we have this Hall of Fame. We have Business of the Year, Business Partner of the Year, and it's a great event. We do it at Live Casino, and we had about 250 attendees there, and we had Dr. Freeman Rabowski, the president of UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, as our keynote speaker. Upcoming event, we have Taste of the Region coming up at the end of the summer, and at Tipton Airport here. We bring all our restaurants from the region, and Laurel and off Route 1 going through Howard County and Western Anne Arundel County throughout northern Prince George's County, and we bring them into a hangar at Tipton, and you get to try all that great food.
Okay.
And then we have later in the year, we have an economic forum where we bring economists that come and talk about projections, what trends they're seeing in the economy, how businesses can position themselves. And these are all large events. We get 200, 250 businesses there. It's a great opportunity for businesses in Laurel, whether they're on Main Street or just outside of Main Street, to come and engage and meet fellow businesses that are in and around Main Street, or other businesses in the region.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So tell us some of the other types of ways that the chamber markets. I mean, there are so many. I had a chance to look at the website. It's a very robust chamber. It really is. So you have a newsletter, for example, that has over 4,000 subscribers.
Yes.
And anything in particular about the newsletter that the viewers need to know about?
So the newsletter comes out every Friday morning. We push it out. As you said, it's about 4,000 individuals that it gets pushed out to, and it's not just the business world, but we have community leaders, elected officials. They're all part of that email distribution. And in that newsletter, we're touching on those 4 pillars. So, we're giving business intel to our businesses. We're talking about opportunities where they can go connect and network, whether it's an event that we're having, an event our partner's having, an event that another business is having. It's all about making sure our businesses know what's going on in the region. And it doesn't have to be business related, right? We had a fundraiser. We had one of our business executives who's recovering from colon cancer, and we went and we advertised that fundraiser because it's all about building that community. I told you that cycle of life. So that newsletter is one of our main vehicles to really push out information, and we want to make sure that we're consistent. So we're doing it every Friday morning, and we also will spotlight businesses. We have new members that come, and we'll spotlight them and say, hey, we have this new business. This is what they do. This is how they do it. We encourage you to go and look at their website. Okay,
awesome. And speaking of networking, I think you mentioned before different types of committees, but you also have networking events and educational sessions that could also help to promote businesses.
So our educational events typically are small business seminars. It's all about making sure our businesses know what the next step is, right? I mean, if you can have the greatest product, okay, you can have IP, intellectual property, but running a business is a whole different ballgame.
It is.
And for someone who was in government for the last several years, and now I'm running a business, I tell people a chamber is a business. In addition to supporting our businesses, I'm running a business. We're a nonprofit, but we run as a business. And we want to make sure that at these small business seminars, our businesses are getting as much information as they can, which is why we keep them small. We only have 20, 25 businesses registered because we want them to learn from the best. So whether it's an accounting firm coming in and saying, this is how you need to use QuickBooks, or whether we're having a law firm come in and say, this is how you do a non-disclosure agreement to protect your intellectual property. We want to make sure that they're getting all the information they can get out of those, the 2 hours that we're doing it.
Right, excellent. And then another way, certainly not the only remaining way, you all obviously have a website, and there's a directory that you and I talked about that's on the website. So tell us about that.
So your viewers, if they're members, if they become members of the chamber, we promote them in a directory. We have this directory which profiles all our businesses, shows what their services is. It's a way to make sure that people in the community, not just our business, but the people in the community are aware of, hey, you know what, if I need this service, this is where I can go get it. So it's actually combined with a relocation guide. And that guide we disseminate throughout the region. So in addition to making sure that all our businesses get copies, we take this relocation guide to all our events. We share it with all our partners, whether it's bringing it to Fort Meade, bringing it to BWI, bringing it down to the Department of Agriculture, wherever it is, all our major assets and these major partners we have, we're sharing that directory with them. And as you mentioned, it's also on our website. So there's an electronic copy of that where people can just go search, and whether it's I need a plumber to fix the leaky sink in my business, or whether you're looking for someone to do your strategic plan and you need a consultant, we have all those businesses and they're all listed in that directory.
Okay, excellent. So it certainly sounds like the Chamber has a wealth of information to help businesses grow and to promote themselves. Can you tell us a little bit about the types of membership categories that the Chamber offers?
Yeah, so for any viewer that's interested in joining, they can always go to our website. So our website is www.centralmarylandchamber.org. And on that website, there will be a profile on the different categories for membership. And the way we do it, like most chambers in the state, is based on the size of the business. So if you are a small business and you have a certain amount of employees, you'll be at a certain price point. If you're a large business, if you're an M&T Bank or a BG&E, you'll be at a different price point. And we try, businesses join for all different reasons. I mean, we have some businesses that just join for the advocacy, and they'll come to us once a year and they'll say, hey, there's this one bill that's really going to help out our business. Can you go to Annapolis and advocate on that bill? We'll have other businesses that just come for the networking. We only see them at events. That's all they come for. Then we have other businesses that all they want is they want me to make direct connections for them. They'll say, Raj, we sell eggs. We want to find the people that buy eggs, make a direct connection for us. So people are joining for all different reasons. Some of them are joining for all those reasons. But if they want to join, I recommend that they go to the website and they can look at all those different categories and see where they fit. And it'll be based on the size of their business. Okay,
excellent. Well, thank you for sharing all of that information about the Chamber. It's obvious that the Chamber offers a wealth of information for businesses, and it's a good resource to consider for new businesses or even businesses that are more mature, because like you said, you have the 4 pillars, and there are so many different types of ways that it can help businesses achieve whatever their goals are. So what we like to do before we close out every show is to provide our viewers with 3 action items that they can take action on today. So one of the actions you've already mentioned, and that's to visit the Chamber itself, visit the website.
So visiting the website. So again, centralmarylandchamber.org. It's a brand new website, lots of different resources on there. Obviously, if someone's interested in becoming a member, go click through that. But you don't even have to be a member per se. I mean, there's different resources in the region. So if businesses on Main Street in Laurel, if they want to change their facade and they want to get paint on their building, they'll be able to find information on our website. So yes, the first action item is definitely go to the website, take a look at the website, from different resources to understanding more about the Chamber. It's all on there.
Okay, and if someone wants to call the Chamber directly, what is the best number where they can do that?
So our main number is 410-672-3422.
Okay.
And either they'll reach me or one of my colleagues, and we have a great staff. They'll walk them through any questions they have about whether it's joining, engagement, because there's just so much going on, and it could be overwhelming. We're here to kind of handhold a business that really wants to learn all the nuts and bolts and how things work.
Okay, excellent. So another action item would be to attend or sponsor an upcoming event. And we didn't talk about sponsorship opportunities, but that's another action that they can take.
So any business can sponsor an event. So whether they say, hey, you know what, I want to be a part of that small business seminar because I'm a lawyer and I can do NDAs, and they want to do that. Or they want to sponsor one of the larger events that we do at live casino with 300 people. Those sponsorship opportunities are open to all businesses. The categories are listed on our website. The opportunities are all listed there. So yeah, sponsorship obviously gets a lot of exposure for our businesses. When you get 300 businesses in a room that are seeing your logo, understanding what you do and how you do it.
It's hard to ignore it, right?
Yeah. It's great exposure. So certainly that is another action item for your viewers.
Excellent. And then another action item will be to become a member of the Chamber.
Yeah, so becoming a member of the Chamber not only helps that business, but helps the Chamber and the businesses within the Chamber, because the more robust we are, the more members we have within the Chamber, the more connectivity that we're creating. Services, we have businesses that come to me all the time saying, hey Raj, I'm looking for an IT provider. And if I can give them a list of 6 providers as opposed to, hey, we have this one provider, it's giving them more options. So yes, joining the Chamber, it's a win-win the way I look at it.
Yes, it absolutely is. And then you actually have a bonus tip. You advise businesses to simply get involved.
Just get involved, whether it's at the local community level, whether it's a county level, whether it's the regional level with the Chamber. You don't even have to be a member of the Chamber to get involved with any of our events. I mean, you can come to any event you want to come to, even if you're not a member. You might pay more than a member, but you can come to that event. I say from an economic standpoint, if you're coming to 3 or 4 events in a given year, you want to be a member. It makes sense to be a member, but you don't have to be a member. And if there's one particular event that we do every year and you say, hey, you know what, this is where I get most return on my investment, come to the event, engage us. And it's whether it's, I say to people, just with me, if you have ideas and ways we can improve things, whether it's on Main Street or throughout the region, call me up, because the Chamber, we're working with our elected officials and with government, different agencies in government, whether it's parks and recs, whether it's public works, we're dealing with all sorts of issues because we want our businesses to be in the best community possible. So I tell people, I'm not in planning and zoning anymore, but I'm making sure that we're reducing traffic, that we have road capacity, because our businesses want to retain the best workers. They want them to be able to drive to work and not be frustrated and be happy. So we're full spectrum, and anyone can be a part of the Chamber, and anyone can engage us even if they're not members.
Okay. Well, this has been great advice. Do you have any closing remarks before we wrap up?
No, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. I think we live in one of the greatest areas. We have such a vibrant region, whether we're in Laurel, whether we're in Odenton, whether we're up in Jessup and Route 1. There's just so much going on here. I always tell people I am the luckiest Chamber CEO in the country because it's so vibrant. We have so many great businesses. So I just appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to your viewers and let them know how we can help them.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing your information and making yourself available. And thank you for joining us on C-Suite on Your Street today. Be sure to join us again next time to learn more about how to start, run, and grow your small business. Until then, I'd like to leave you with our quote of the month. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Take care.